Oh, I
Yeah.
see you.
Hi, good to see
Same
you.
here. Same here. Same here.
And
So good.
I'm so, once again, I'm sorry it is your anniversary. It was your anniversary yesterday.
Yeah, it
And
was
I'm putting you out. You're
Thursday.
supposed to be in your husband's arms. Thank you for joining.
Oh
Thank you for
wow.
honoring my invitation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So good to be
And
here.
I know it's so good to be here too. How's it
I see
going?
how my
How's
people
it
are
going?
joining. I see Evelyn. I see Lamy.
Yes, thank you for
I'm sure
joining.
they'll be like, I'm not supposed to be
I know I
here.
pulled her
Why are
out.
you here? But hey,
I pulled her out. But we're going to have a wonderful time today. And I'm so glad that you're here. All right. I know that you have to rush back in time. So I don't want us to waste that much time. Tell us. I understand. I was so intrigued by your story when I got to hear. I said, okay, how did she switch from being an engineer into the entrepreneurial world? What was her thought process like? What did she think of? What were you thinking of when you decided to pull so many women into one space to sell? Tell us, give us the blueprint from the beginning, the decision-making point to the execution stage. How did it go? We'd like to hear that
hey,
from you.
wow, it's interesting how you live your life in a way that convinces you that that is the life you should be living, and then at the end of the day everything comes together to become a story, to become a powerful story, right? But really what has happened in my life between 2014 and
Mhm.
now is the power of a compelling vision,
Mm,
and the power of course, a compelling vision will also give you conviction beyond it just being a vision, right?
exactly.
There's a lot of conviction behind it that makes you know that you're threading the right path, even when there are challenges, because there will be challenges where you start to question yourself, am I sure? Right? Yeah, so I used to be, I mean, I studied electrical engineering, so I have my B engine. So yeah, once an engineer, always an engineer. However, I mostly worked in IT, and then
Okay.
I switched into oil and gas. I was more into project management,
Mm,
right? And um, IT was good, even project management was good, but I felt within me that there is more.
right.
I just feeling, you know how you just feel deep down that is this all to you? Is this all you're going to be doing? And don't get me wrong,
Mm,
the jobs I had were good jobs, very good
right.
jobs, you know, for the, you know, for the time I had spent in my career and all of that were very good jobs, very reputable companies, oil and gas companies. But I just didn't feel right. And I didn't feel, I felt there was more. I wasn't sure what it was, but
Right.
I felt to pulling into that entrepreneurship and to back date, I had always done makeup right from year three of university. I did bridal makeup. Have always done makeup. It was something I loved. I went for training when I was in year three, and 2 weeks after, I started booking brides. All my sisters, older sisters, friends were getting married. My friends' older sisters were getting married. I was doing their makeup even before makeup blew up completely in Nigeria back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, right? Uh, you know, so so when I started to think, maybe entrepreneurship will make me this thing that I'm feeling in my mind, maybe I'll be able to express it through entrepreneurship. And I asked myself, what can I do? The only business I'd ever done in my life was beauty, right? Everything had to do with beauty. Either I'm selling beauty products or I'm, you know, so, and that was the only thing I knew how to do. So I went to brush up my skills. I remember then in 2014, I went to London, Ola makeovers. I just told her to help me brush up my skills. I really wanted to make it into a business. Like before, as a business back home in Nigeria, but when I relocated, I was doing it more for friends and family because I got busy, but I was doing more for friends and family. And then by the time I wanted to start business, I thought, you know what? This is the only thing I really know how to do, that is business. I know I can sell, but even if I want to sell anything, I would rather sell makeup. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
So that was how and then I started to think, okay, who have I seen that is successful in this field? Because I was scared. Like, it's not, I don't think makeup is going to be financially sustainable. Coming from an oil and gas
Mm.
career, now doing makeup is even going to be financially sustainable. I started looking around. Who are the people that have built institutions in this industry? And Tara Feladrotoye has always been an inspiration and is still an inspiration. Everything about her life, so I follow her, I read her blogs, I just, I wanted to know how is she thinking, what's her way of life, right?
Mm.
But that was the picture, that was a like my poster girl. Right, that was the girl I wanted to
Uh,
be like. Yeah. So I thought, okay, Tara has she has a makeup line, she does makeup services, and then she has a school, right? So I thought so I wrote a business plan around that. We're gonna have a school, makeup services, makeup products, and so I started with makeup services in Aberdeen. We used to be in Aberdeen, UK then. So I did that for like a year before we moved to Calgary, and just within a year, a lot of people were concerned when I was leaving. Like, Doyin, you've built something. How will you leave? I remember a friend calling me to say, Doyin, can Adonia remain? You can leave, but can Adonia remain? Can you train people so that they can call themselves Adonia? Because people have grown to love Adonia,
mm.
right? And that was in Aberdeen. We started 2014, like,
Mm.
end of 2014. And then by 2015, August, September, we were leaving. So I had partnered with a photographer that was my friend, and then we sold vouchers for makeup and photography, and people that didn't even know they needed makeup, we sold it to their husbands gifted it to them. We would go, by the time they see us, myself and Ebony Hita, we would get in there, do the make, people were happy. They just felt this is a business, right? And then I was still
Mm.
working full time. But by the time we had to leave for Canada, I left my job. And then because I saw the response of people, I knew there was something in it. I wasn't like entirely sure, but I knew there was something in it. So when we got to Canada, I told my husband, you know what? Let me pause. I don't want to work for about 2 years. Let's see if this business would make sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'll go back to work, right? So that was the deal. So I was like, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not going to look for a job. I'm just going to focus on building it. So what did I do? I started to look for what is available, resources. Are there any like business programs? I've never run a business. I went to school to learn engineering. I never know how to really run a business. Are there schools? Are there any resources around? And then I saw this company online called Momentum, where they would actually train you for 6 months, and for entrepreneurship, to launch your program, to launch your business, have your business plan. They will give you a seed loan. That was big for me. And I had two little kids, 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they even had child care. And it was an evening program. So everything ticked all of the boxes for me. I was like, there's no way to keep my children. We're new in the city. My husband is trying to make ends meet for us. The least I want to do is to start looking for someone to take care of the children. And so everything worked out. So I went into that program excited. By the time I was done, not only did I get all these things, I had a business plan I could send to the bank for loan. I had a seed loan. I had people. I had resources. I had people that I had met through that program and all of the events that they did. So by the time I was going to do a launch of my program, and of course, while I was doing this program, and even before then, even while I was in Aberdeen, because the plan was to have products, I was already researching um, labs that made makeup products in Canada. And I wanted my products to be made in Canada. Then I wanted it. I really wanted, because I was like, I don't know, something you're putting on your skin. I don't want stories. Let it just be made in Canada. I have a different perspective now. Even though, yeah, there's a way you can test your products and ensure they are good
Yeah.
enough on the skin. It doesn't necessarily have to be from Canada. It's not enough to market your product. Yeah. So I had done all that research. In fact, I had ordered samples of products from Canada while I was in the UK. just to start testing. So by the time I came here, I sort of hit the ground running, went to the business school, started launching my products gradually. And then I did a big launch in 2016 of September. We had over 100 people come to that launch. And that was the beginning um, of, of, of my journey to becoming a visionary woman. And not just a visionary woman, a kingdom woman.
Right.
Because at that point, I had done everything I could physically do. Like I had, I got some seed loan. I got some, loan from my husband as well. I had gone through this business school. I had, I'd done everything I could humanly do. I'd launched the product. I'd started doing makeup. People knew me. I had rebranded myself as a makeup artist. So if you did not know me in Aberdeen, you would just think that's all I know how to do, right? So I had all of that going for me. And then, but when I launched the product and I had that event, the response I got from people was, "Oh, you're so inspiring. Oh, I feel more confident to do my own thing. Oh, the people started messaging, like they liked the way the event went. I didn't just hire models that were like professional models. It was everyday women, people that look like you and me, that modeled the makeup, they walked the runway. We asked them what beauty meant to them, and they said beauty means confidence, beauty means, who I am, beauty means this. So it was so inspiring for people, and that was what I kept getting. Like, so in my mind, I'm like, don't you people not talk about the product? Like, I want to sell the product. I just want to sell, right? I want to sell, but I didn't hear much about the product. People like the product. Oh, your product is that, but it was bigger than that. And it was at that point I sat down to think and reflect. Okay, what exactly am I trying to build? Yes, Laura is my inspiration, but I'm in a different country. How am I going to penetrate and infiltrate this atmosphere, this sphere of influence? How am I going to do that? Right? I started to question myself, and at that point, I knew that it was beyond me. I knew what I was sensing. I was sensing I wanted women to be more confident to go after their dreams. That was like the big deal for me. Like, you can do it. I'm not a superhuman. I just try. I just, feel if I'm getting the spool, I just try and I work hard towards it. But like, yeah, and it's also okay to fail. That's the kind of that's the kind of those are the kind of things. Yeah, that's kind of mindset I have, and that was the kind of mindset I wanted to put in people, right? So I started thinking, I don't know, how am I going to do it? I do beauty, and I'd also themed that event on Mask Your Beauty event, because it also just came to my mind that I'm trying to help women unmask their beauty, but I didn't know how. So it was after that event I started to ask myself, how am I going to infuse makeup into this bigger dream that I have? I didn't know. And for the very first time, I hired a life coach. Because I was like, I didn't even know what to do. And thankfully, so my friend Moshe Pedo, she was like, "Oh, there's this community where we read books, we do this, we do that. Do you want to join?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll join." I remember my first book then that we read then was Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and I felt so powerful. Like, oh my god, And then shortly after we did that book club, the lady in charge, Datola Amore, she's in the UK. She was like, "Oh, there's this course, Map Your Life Purpose, that she's launching," and then she did a webinar around it. My goodness! After listening to her, I was like, "As if I need to understand my purpose, because I want to know what I'm doing. I really want to know what I'm doing before I really go all out with this business. I don't want to run around like a headless chicken. Like, oh, yeah." So I paid. So that course was £199, and I asked if I could pay, do instrumental payments. She said yes, I could pay I could pay. Yeah, I think she gave me an option of instrumental pay, because I've never, when you've never paid for something intangible, it's easy if I went out to spend £199 on a dress. I see the dress. But then I'm like, £199. I've never paid for personal development in my life up until that 2016, end of 2016. And I'm like, well, so I was like, can I just break it down? Because I don't even know what I'm expecting. Can I just drop that kind of money? And then she said yes. So I went in through this course. And this course, it was a 6-week program. She dripped the course such that you only have access to one lesson per week and you work on it. You're not rushing through the course. And then we meet every week to talk about it. I looked forward to those meetings. I looked forward to doing the course, to taking my time. And then I paused everything I was doing, around the business, because I was confused, I was overwhelmed, and I just needed clarity. And when I saw this course, I just feel that, number one, God bringing Moshope Idowu into my life was such a blessing to introduce me to that community. And then meeting Detola Amure was another blessing. And then connecting to the resources that she had. So I can never forget the impact of these people in my life. The course was for me. It was for me, Adedoyin Omotaara. I went through it and I started to write down, went through the timeline of our lives, the lessons we learned, our strengths. We did the personality thing and all of that. And for the very first time, I was able to put a mission statement together. And it was at that time I understood what God was telling. So after then, I now started to work with Detola one-on-one. And then she is a spiritual coach. When I mean spiritual coach, she's a Christian. So with everything you're doing, she's telling you to pray. So I was telling her what my concerns were, that there's this business I believe God has told me to do, but I know it's beyond makeup. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's around helping women to be confident, but I'm not sure how to wrap everything together. And then she told me to just focus on that prayer, that I should focus on that prayer. I should just keep praying for that, for God to reveal it to me. And then I started to fast. Fasting beyond food, fasting from social media, even from friends, from a lot of things. I just, like, when you're doing a focused prayer, like you wrestle with God, like Jacob did. Like, I will not let you go unless you bless me. That was what happened. That was what happened. So I did, and then within that 3 months of working with my coach and praying and focused prayer, it was focused on that. Those 3 months, I was focused on that. Like, God, I want to know, why have you called me into this industry? Because I had other skills. I could be doing other things that'll be bringing in good money. Why am I doing makeup?
There's a reason.
I remember it got like one of the days of, doing those prayers and doing all of, this coaching and doing all those exercises. I heard, and it was, I believe that's my very first vivid encounter with God. I heard, change the names of your lipsticks to who I want women to be, who I have created them to be. A lot of women have lost their identity because of a lot of societal factors. Labels. I want you to relabel women to their original DNA. It just kept coming. I had to stop what I was doing. I was cooking. I stopped. I sat down and I started writing. I am enough, magnificent, I am worthy. And I started, and all of these things have Bible connotations to them. Like, I'm not just saying, it's not just affirmations. I am beautiful. Where is God? Where did God say that? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonder. And then, so if you so at that point, I wrote all of that, and it was like, when a black veil gets lifted off your face. That was the beginning for me of this whole Adonia visionary journey, because I saw that it wasn't makeup. I just wanted to be clear. I'm not saying anything is wrong with makeup or whatever, but then God gave me the understanding that makeup is only a platform to connect with women. And so I took it seriously. I took the job seriously. Because I had friends then, people that knew me from high school, that would be saying, this girl, she has the brain to be a doctor. Don't mind that, this makeup that she's doing. She's very smart. People that knew, they'll be wondering, this makeup this girl wants to do. But I had a bet. Sincerely, if I did not have that conviction, no way, I would go back to work. No, is it like Canada? If we're even in Nigeria, you can say you're making money. Do you make Canada is not like that. It's not.
Yes. It's
It's
not.
not. The bills are high. It's not. So you can't just say you're sitting down with makeup just like that, especially then in 2016 in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
So they are
Mm-hmm.
forcing celebrants to do makeup.
To do makeup.
You understand? But
Yeah,
then
no.
I got that conviction that not makeup, girl. Open your eyes. But I want you to connect to these women, draw them in, and let them know who they are. In me, Sata. You see, when I got that conviction, oh my God, my faith level went higher. Everything, I just knew that this is vision. And this is not just, it's not a worldly vision. It is a vision handed to me by God. How do I want to steward it? It's a gift handed to me by God. How do I want to steward it? And also, what that also taught me was I couldn't do this by myself. This has got to be a partnership with God. Because I'm like, that's my own with telling women they are confident. They are, what? Like, let them, do you understand? But then, with that conviction, I started thirsting for more. Thirsting even to believe that all of that for my own self. Because the change starts from me. At times, you don't even need to talk. Just your life will make people change, will make people believe. So I needed to work on my own self. And I started to really read books. Really read. If you get to my library, I have tons of books. Those books, I got them between 2016 and now.
And now.
I wasn't a reader. No. Before that, but you see, you think, oh my God, this girl has read all the books of this world. I'm sure she's been reading. No. I wasn't a reader. I was just a happy-go-lucky girl. I started sitting down to read. Reading time became my me time that I cherished. And just so you know, I'm an extrovert. I love to go out, have fun. But I started to love my own company. Like sitting down. It was a cherished time. I would take my kids for swimming. I'll watch them for a bit, read for a bit. Watch for a bit, read for a bit. Instead of going on Instagram and social media, I would get on my Kindle app, read. And I saw how quickly I started growing. I started following people that inspired me. And I caught a glimpse of that with Tara. And I saw that was why she remained my inspiration.
I see.
I started looking behind even House of Tara as a brand. Who is the visionary behind it?
Right.
And I started to see her spirituality. I started to understand her values. I started to know her belief system. If Tara launches a book today, I'll be the first to buy. I might not be the first to buy.
Of course, I get you. I understand. Yeah.
I will buy the book. Because she's like, that forerunner where you see her. I may not be doing the exact thing she has done because I'm in a different country, but I drew a lot of inspiration from her and from her life. And I saw that she was the forerunner. God was pointing to me that look at my daughter, right? Look, daughter. She has done this assignment, but I want you to take it. I also want you to take this piece and run with it.
Wow.
And really, that is that revelation of I want you to teach women to know who they are in me. That revelation has brought about everything happening with Adonia.
Right now.
What now happens is I receive a revelation, I execute. Business people that have gone to do proper MBA, not the small sugar business school that I went to. People that went to Harvard, people that have gone to school. They will
my God.
John, they will not use big words. I did not know that was what I was doing. I was just reading Isaiah and I was getting inspiration and I was just executing. And somebody's telling me, oh, I love the way you're diversifying your portfolio. I didn't know it was diversification.
What you have is a conglomerate. Honestly, that's what you have. You have a conglomerate because you have Adonia College, Adonia Beauty, Adonia Real Estate. How?
Because I was clear when I became clear, the vision is to women.
Right.
It's not for every product I'm creating, for every product I'm creating, for every business platform I have, it's to connect with women. It's not about the product. And God gives success because He wants people to see you.
Right.
It's not about don't make noise. Just let the success speak for itself. And then nature will come to your light. Yeah.
That's it. That's
Nature
it.
will come. So everything, if you read the book of Isaiah, everything in Isaiah is what they are teaching in business school.
In business school, I
Yep.
tell you.
But
I tell you.
the Holy Spirit is. So I didn't even know, and I started reading, about when you're diversifying your business portfolio and all of that. In fact, I teach all these things to my kids. I'm like, Ade, can you Google diversification of portfolio? What is it? What do you think? How do you think Adonia, has done this with business? And I just look at those things when people call me and say, "Oh, Doi, I know what you're doing. You're doing this." I'm like, I did not know that was what it was called. I'll go back and read up. Oh, okay. So this is a business term. I didn't know. I was just doing my own, right? Or when we started to expand. Before then, I just had one staff. I just used to have one staff, like as an assistant, and I just do my own thing. And I remember a friend had called me and said, Doing, my sister just came from Nigeria. She's really good at makeup. I think she would do really well on your team. I didn't need the staff. I could not even afford to pay another staff. But I really started to think about it. And I got a conviction from God that, you know what? I want to give you time. Because time is wealth. That was all I needed to get that conviction. So even if it means the salary I'm paying myself, I'm going to be paying this. And I liked her. So I brought her in to start, working for me, even before I did work permit and all, just to see what she could do. And I saw that I could easily hand over my clients to her.
Okay,
so
clients, okay.
Step away from day to day in Adonia. And that was when she got that job and she started to work with Adonia Beauty. Things started getting clearer. I could have time to open Adonia Collective. And because of what I had learned, I made sure I didn't go neck deep into Adonia Beauty in terms of day to day. I had staff from day one running the whole thing, writing the whole processes. So I was never neck deep into it. So easily, a year after, I could move into real estate seamlessly, almost seamlessly, not entirely. I mean, I've had to reorganize my life again.
Of course, yeah.
Focus on this. But I started, but if I was just thinking, I cannot afford that. But then I started to pray that God, like, what are you saying? Why is this coming to me? It's easier if I did work permit, because work permit, I didn't even know my business could do work permits. I didn't know. So a lot of people do it for their family members, maybe one cousin somewhere. I would have done that, and but this person is a friend I know from here and the sister. They've been so no regrets whatsoever. Someone that takes business like their own. So
and that gave you time to move on to the collectives.
Yes. I started to understand that time is wealth.
Yeah.
Time is wealth. When you build what you're building, you need time. You can't get into doing makeup every day, right? Of course, some customers were angry. Oh, what are you going to do to them? I'm like, sorry, we need to move. We need to move on. The harvest is plenty. The laborers are few. There's a lot of wasting of time. And that helped me to get into real estate. And real estate is opening my eyes as well to other dimensions of wealth. And I'm just mind blown. I'm asking myself, why did I not get into this 4 years ago, 5 years ago? But then
that was not the right time.
And reason for everything. I would have been, I wouldn't be able to give it this amount of time if I had started years ago. Because I'm like, oh, Adonia, we are still looking. People are pulling you from left, right, and center. But now nobody's pulling me from Adonia. I go there to have meetings with my staff and to get things done. They know when the inventory is low, when to order, they know all of that. So I don't know if I've answered your question of when
I'm still going to take you somewhere, but I just want to recap. So what I heard you say is you started with a vision. You had a vision. You knew there was more to you. You knew that engineering was just not it. I need to do more. There's something I need to do. And you pursued it. However, it still wasn't clear. And then you now had to seek personal development, develop yourself. Afterwards, you knew you had to go back to the source. What exactly do I need to do so that this dream is unraveled and then I'm reaching the people that, I intend to reach because of that desire that is in me? And then eventually became clear, so clear to you. And from then on, you diversified. You opened different colleges. You now started meeting women in different quantums, different corners and all over Canada. At first, I didn't even mention the fact that you even experimented. You knew that you wanted to come to a country and you wanted to make makeup for their women. You decided to experiment on different. I said, okay, no, my makeup is going to be produced in this country. So good. Look at the thought process. I love it. Now, I want to understand, how did you think of opening a store for women and call it Adonia Collective, where a lot of women will come in and start selling? What brought up that idea?
Okay, so Adonia Collective came from who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
If I have this, I believe in sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in everything alone. When there are people around that probably don't even have a time, like one drop, and you have five, what's it called, 5 grains of rice. But people are,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I was brought up as a
Mm-hmm.
person. It has landed me in trouble a few times because human beings will be human.
Of
But
course.
that is
Yeah.
what. So
Mm-hmm.
having one store, Adonia Beauty, people would come to me to say, Doyin, can I sell my product in your store?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? I remember our very first store, it was really small. I rearranged the store to be able to house this person's product. And then after, other people started coming. So I found myself rearranging the store. In fact, I found myself telling my staff that, you know what, we sell from the samples. So we don't have to put all products out. It's from samples that we
Mm-hmm.
stand.
Okay.
So we can always make room for other people. And that was when I started thinking, actually, as much as I do want to help, but the rent of these places are not cheap. So can people shelf rent? And people were very happy to do it. The first one I did, I wasn't taking rent. I just took the person's product in, was taking some percentage. But then later I started taking shelf rent and percentage. So I started working it as a real business. So I had all of those. Now, people that were not in beauty started coming. Food, when I mean food, packaged food,
Of
uh,
course.
like chin chin and things like that, they started coming. And I really wanted to help because there were always people in Adonia. There were always,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I remember I took in chin chin, put it back end. I never put it in front, just so the store won't look like it's one um, African store.
Okay,
You
so
understand? Yeah. So I put it back
yeah.
in. When I have customers, I'm like,
Mm.
we give them chin chin and what? They're like, oh, I love this chin chin. We have it. I sell.
Okay.
This is not my business.
Okay. I know.
But I saw that it wasn't something, it was something that was innate for me. So by the time it started getting bigger, another person came, she wants to start selling spices. I should put it behind. I'm like, how will people taste spice now? Right? That was when I said, you know what, we can actually open another store. Let's leave beauty. People already know Adonia Beauty and they know us for makeup and all this facial stuff. Let's open a collective that can house fashion, that can house food, home decor, accessories. And I want it to be predominantly Black women. We can have,
Mm.
but the focus is to help Black women.
Right.
And for me, also a fulfillment of vision, right? Let women know that they are powerful. Let women know that they are powerful beyond measure, that they are gods. They are gods. And that was how I reached out to people and I was like, oh, I'm thinking of opening the store. I found a space. The first thing was to find a space. I found a space in the mall where Adonia Beauty was, right? Because I already have a relationship with them. So it wasn't hard. I just sent out an email. I want to try this concept out. And it was around December. Can I try this concept out for 3 months? If it doesn't work out, we'll scrap it. If it works out, we'll. And I reached out. And before I knew it, we had 27 vendors saying, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. It was shocking.
27.
Yes. In less than 1 month, we opened Adonia Collective. In less than 1 month from planning to execution, we opened Adonia Collective in December 2022. There was so much news around. Like I couldn't take it all in because of how it just like quickly flew out of my hands. Couldn't. News channels were interested in us. So many, like people were coming to Westbrook Mall to look for us. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
What do I do? What next?
No, it was a lot. I did not know that it will catch fire immediately, like because Adonia Beauty definitely did not catch fire immediately like that. Yoruba adage just says, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's the image that the collective brings. Like women that were selling products in their basement. Women that could even tell their friends they were selling something because they were not sure of how they were going to perceive them. If they were going to perceive them as being salesy, or women that didn't want to ruin their relationships because of selling products. Lots of women, they moved from the basement into Adonia Collective. And after 3 months, I remember Black History Month, I had reached out to different malls that wanted to do pop-up, and everyone was interested, but we couldn't afford all those malls. So we went only to one mall, TD Core Mall. It's a very prestigious mall. And what did they do? They came to Westbrook to look at what we had before they could take us. Now I'm sharing this just to say, because Westbrook Mall is not it's first mall in Calgary, and has not been very well maintained. So people don't really come there. Like it's not very popular. Yeah, it's more of a destination apart from the Walmarts there. So by the time but we started there because that was what I had. Start with what you have. That was I had relationships. I know I could email them and they'll respond and say, okay, there's this space, you can use it, see how it goes. They gave me a lease of 3 months. By the end of 3 months, I'd gotten into TD Core Mall, which is a more prestigious mall. We only went there for a pop-up and they said they're happy to let us stay. Of course, where we started is not where we are right now. They moved us. They moved us again after they had seen our sales for a bit, then they moved us. But what am I saying? Start from where you are. The vision may not be very clear. And at some point, I started to feel like I'm just building community. The money I'm supposed to pay myself, I'm paying staff, like it was getting a bit overwhelming for me. And like, is this how I'm supposed to be running the business? Then again, God started to open my eyes to people that there's a lot of wealth around you. You only need to see it. Money is come. It will come. You need to see it. And then I saw that I had people over the years of building Adonia, not just people that trust me, people that believe in what I stand for. And so when I started Adonia Real Estate, before I even finished, I think my exam, I was already putting Adonia Real Estate loading. And I remember a friend had reached out to me and said, Doyin, I'm so proud of you. I hope you will do the kind of thing you did in Adonia Collective with real estate, where you bring women together to invest in something like that. That if you ever want to do that, I'm in. Chidima, I had not finished my exam. This is me I face things a lot. If I know I'm going to do something, I start to write it. I will put it. We are there. Even before it comes. So I just put it, loading. And she put that. And even at that time, I was sure I liked the whole real estate thing. I'd gotten some convictions, but I wasn't sure of how I was going to go. But as soon as we started, I hit the ground running. People started, even before we finished the exam, oh, you're going to buy my house. You're going to buy my house. And yeah, it's just It's just powerful when you connect to what God wants you to do. Because in life, I felt, what is my own with people now? Like, what's my own? It almost seems unreal because you hardly find people help you because of what they want to gain from you. I don't really care. I'm not thinking of what I want to gain from you if I want to support you. I'm not thinking about that. My reward is in heaven. It's God that will give the reward. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember even my husband telling me, doing is as if I've seen that you just want to be building community, building women. Me, as I want to break the backbone of poverty in my family. So we can, do you understand? So you cannot just make money that is supposed to be just.
Okay, we can
You
hear you now.
understand? Like we've had those kind of frank conversations, like, what are you up to? Kind of thing. Yeah, but I'm thankful God is bringing everything together, and I have a clearer vision, and I'm even more convinced than ever before that my ministry is to women and is in the marketplace. It's not on the pulpit. But it's not on the pulpit. I'm not called to be a pastor anywhere.
No, you don't have to be
I
a pastor.
just want to win souls for Christ through the
The
marketplace.
marketplace. Wow. You're a great storyteller, first of all. And we have talked
My
for
story.
45 minutes. I know. For 45 minutes, and your story is intriguing. It is. I have other questions to ask, but I know you have to go off. So before I ask you that question, I know a lot of people have joined, and this is just to say it is a precursor to the summit that is coming up on the 24th and the 25th of May. And she's going to be speaking and sharing on making confident decisions for your business. You don't want to miss it. You want to hear her talk and point you, because there's so many things I have picked, but just so that we don't start going into all the details, I would like you to speak to this. Don't reveal too much. Just let us know what that one thing is that you're going to share with us at the summit so that people can hear and then register to hear you speak.
It's exactly what you said. I love the title of that summit. The confidence what's that?
The
Confidence summit.
Exponential Confidence Summit.
Influential Confidence Summit.
Exponential, yeah.
Exponential Confidence Summit. That's it. You see, we're going to be talking about what confidence is and what confidence is not. How and how to connect with your confidence. We're going to be talking about, okay, are people just born confident, or is it a result? Is it as a result of their environment, or is it something you work towards? Do you have it and you just need to,
build it?
Just really need to build it, and we're going to be sharing like real stories, and not just sweet and yummy stories, like when you're down there, how do you have the confidence to keep going when everything looks, you're in debt, and you're like, and you say, God called me. God called me. How am I? You understand?
I know.
How do you have confidence to keep going with that business?
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of even going back to the drawing board. Like, how do you know this is the business you should be doing? There's a lot to it. There's a lot to making confident decisions in business, every area of our lives. But it starts with understanding who you are, why you're doing it.
That's it. And I heard you talk about that. You had to go back to understand who you really are and then develop yourself. Then look into your business and diversify, which is so good. Thank you so much. It's her wedding. It's her 15th year wedding anniversary. And she's right now enjoying somewhere, pulled away from her husband.
But then my husband said, oh, leave it. It's just 30 minutes. Just leave it.
I know, taking more than 30 minutes. Please thank him for us. And thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you, doing, and we'll hear more of you on the 24th and the 25th.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
You all, please register for this summit on Chidi Njiaku's page.
drop the link. I'll drop it again.
Confidencelocust.com. Confidencelocust.com. It's an online summit. Please join and we'll be happy to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.